Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation where you understood every single word, but still felt completely lost?
Oh my God, yes. That is literally me. I'll hear every word clearly and still be like, wait, what just happened?
Exactly. And here's the surprising part. This isn't your fault. It's not about vocabulary. It's not even about grammar. It's about how real English actually works in natural conversations.
Wait, so you're telling me I don't need more words?
Not at first. What you need is a new way of listening, because real English isn't spoken the way you learned it in textbooks. It's faster, messier, emotional, and full of hidden meaning.
That actually makes me feel a little better, because sometimes I think maybe I'm just bad at English.
And if you've ever felt that way, I want you to stay with us, because by the end of this episode on Talk Easy Daily, you're going to hear English differently. Not just understand it, but follow it naturally.
Okay, now I'm curious. Like, what am I missing exactly?
Let's start with something simple. Imagine someone says, it's kind of like, not a big deal.
Ugh, I hate sentences like that. What does that even mean?
Exactly. Every word is easy, but the meaning? Confusing. That's because English isn't just words. It's tone, rhythm, intention, and context.
So it's like reading between the lines?
Yes, but even deeper. It's about feeling the sentence, not just translating it.
That sounds hard.
It can feel that way at first, but here's the good news. Once you understand the patterns, everything starts to click. Conversations stop feeling like noise and start feeling like stories.
Okay, I like that. I want that feeling.
And here's something for you watching right now. Have you ever paused a video just to replay one sentence again and again?
Oh, wow. I've done that so many times.
Then you're in the right place. Because today, we're going to break that cycle. We're going to show you why natural conversations feel confusing and how you can finally follow them without stress.
Wait, are we actually going to listen to real conversation examples?
Not just listen. We're going to slow them down, unpack them, and then rebuild them in a way your brain can actually process.
That sounds kind of exciting, actually.
And here's a quick challenge for you watching. By the end of this episode, I want you to notice one thing. When English starts feeling natural instead of forced.
Ooh, I like that. It's like a test.
Exactly. And if you're ready for that moment, make sure you hit like right now, because it tells us you want more conversations like this.
And also subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, because honestly, if this works, I'm staying.
Good choice. Because in the next part, we're going to reveal the first hidden reason why natural English feels impossible to follow.
Wait, there's a hidden reason?
Oh yes, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Okay, now I need to know. Let's go.
All right, here's the first hidden reason why natural English feels so hard to follow. And once you hear this, things are going to start making a lot more sense.
I'm ready. What is it?
Native speakers don't speak in full sentences.
Wait, what? But everything I learned is based on full sentences.
Exactly. That's the problem. You were trained to expect clean, complete, perfect sentences, but real conversations, they're broken, incomplete, and constantly changing mid-thought.
Oh, wow, that's actually true. People start a sentence, then just stop.
Yes. Let me give you a real example. Imagine someone says, I was gonna, but then never mind.
That is so confusing.
Right? But for a native speaker, it's completely clear because they're not listening to just the words. They're understanding the intention behind the sentence.
So even if the sentence is incomplete, the meaning is still complete?
Exactly. That's a powerful insight. And if you miss that, conversations feel like puzzles with missing pieces.
Okay, that explains a lot. Sometimes I feel like people just drop words.
They do, all the time. And here's a quick pattern interrupt. This might shock you. In real conversation, clarity is not always the goal. Efficiency is.
Wait, what do you mean?
Native speakers are trying to communicate quickly, not perfectly, so they cut corners. They assume the listener will fill in the gaps.
That sounds unfair.
It does, but it's actually efficient. Think about how you speak in your own language. Do you always speak in perfect, complete sentences?
No, not even close.
Exactly. You skip words, you shorten ideas, you rely on tone and context.
So English is doing the same thing, I'm just not used to it.
That's right, and here's something for you watching. Have you ever understood a sentence only after thinking about it for a few seconds?
Oh yes, like a delay in my brain.
That delay happens because your brain is trying to process every word instead of understanding the overall message.
So I'm focusing too much on the details?
Precisely. And that leads us to a powerful shift. Stop listening word by word and start listening idea by idea.
That sounds simple, but I feel like it's hard to actually do.
It is at first, so let's break it down. Imagine someone says, it's not that I don't like it, I don't know, it feels weird.
Okay, I understand the words, but it still feels a little unclear.
Good. Now don't focus on the words. Ask yourself, what is the feeling behind the sentence?
Maybe they're uncomfortable?
Exactly. They're not rejecting it directly. They're expressing hesitation.
Oh, so the real meaning is emotional, not literal.
Yes, that's the key. Natural English is full of emotional signals, not just logical statements.
That's actually kind of beautiful.
It is. But if you're only trained to understand textbook English, you miss those signals.
So I've basically been listening the wrong way this whole time?
Not wrong, just incomplete. And now you're upgrading your listening.
I like that. It feels less frustrating.
And here's a quick question for you watching. When you listen to English, do you try to translate everything in your head?
Oh, that's me. Every single word.
Then this next idea might change everything for you.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
Because in the next segment, we're going to talk about the second hidden reason conversations feel impossible to follow.
There's more?
And this one is even more powerful because it's not about what people say.
Wait, what?
It's about what they don't say.
Okay, now that sounds mysterious.
And a little uncomfortable too, because once you understand this, you'll realize how much meaning you've been missing.
I feel like my brain is about to explode, in a good way.
Good. That means you're learning. And if you've made it this far, take a second. Like the video and in the comments write, I'm starting to hear differently.
Ooh, I like that. It's like a mindset shift.
Exactly. And trust me, you'll need that mindset for what's coming next.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
All right. Here's the second hidden reason natural English feels so difficult to follow.
I'm ready, and honestly, a little nervous.
Good, because this one changes everything. Native speakers often don't say what they actually mean.
Wait, what? Then how are we supposed to understand them?
Exactly the question you should be asking, because real communication in English is indirect. People hint, suggest, soften, and imply instead of saying things directly.
That sounds like a nightmare for learners.
It can feel that way until you understand the pattern. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone says, "It's getting a little late."
Okay, that just means the time is late, right?
Not necessarily. In many situations, it actually means I want to leave.
Oh, so the real message is hidden.
Exactly. This is what we call implied meaning. The sentence is not the message. The intention is the message.
That's kind of tricky.
It is. But here's a pattern interrupt. This might surprise you. Even native speakers misunderstand each other sometimes because of this.
Really? So it's not just me?
Not at all, because humans communicate with layers: words, tone, context, and shared understanding.
Okay, so if I only focus on the words, I miss everything else.
Exactly, and that's why conversations feel confusing. You're hearing the sentence, but missing the signal.
Signal, I like that word.
Think of it this way. Words are just the surface. The real meaning lives underneath.
So how do I train myself to hear that?
Great question. Start by asking yourself, why did they say this? Not just what did they say.
That's a big shift.
Let's try another example. Someone says, "Yeah, we should do that sometime."
Oh no, I've heard this one before.
What do you think it means?
Maybe they want to do it later?
Sometimes, but very often it actually means I'm not really interested.
Wow, that's kind of polite rejection.
Exactly. English speakers often use soft language to avoid being direct.
So they're protecting feelings?
Yes, it's a social strategy, and if you don't recognize it, you take everything literally and get confused.
That explains so many awkward moments in my life.
And here's something for you watching. Have you ever waited for someone to follow up after they said let's do it sometime and they never did?
Oh, that hurts.
That's implied meaning in action.
Okay, now I see why this is important.
And here's another quick tip. Pay attention to tone. Sometimes the words are positive, but the tone tells a different story.
Like when someone says, "Yeah, that's great," but they don't sound excited?
Exactly. The words say great, the tone says not really.
That's so confusing, but also kind of fascinating.
It is. And once you start noticing it, conversations become much clearer.
So instead of translating words, I should read the situation.
Perfectly said. Read the situation, not just the sentence.
Okay, but what about fast conversations? Because sometimes people speak so quickly, I can't even catch the words.
Now we're getting into the next layer.
There's another one?
And this one might be the biggest obstacle of all.
Don't tell me it's speed, right?
Not exactly. It's something even more subtle.
Okay, now you're really building suspense.
Because in the next segment, we're going to uncover why even slow conversations can feel fast.
Wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
It will. And once you understand this, your listening skills will jump to a completely new level.
I'm honestly excited now.
Good. And if you're still here, take a moment, comment below. I'm starting to understand the hidden meaning.
And don't forget to subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, because this is getting really good.
It's just getting started.
All right, let's go deeper.
All right, here's where things get really interesting. You said something earlier, speaker 2. You feel like people speak too fast.
Yes, all the time. Even when I slow down the video, it still feels overwhelming.
And here's the twist. It's not actually speed that's the problem.
Wait, what? Then what is it?
It's something called connected speech.
That sounds technical.
It sounds technical, but you already experience it every day. You just don't notice it.
Okay, explain.
When native speakers talk, they don't pronounce each word clearly and separately. They connect words together, they reduce sounds, and sometimes they even delete sounds completely.
Oh, so that's why "what are you doing" sounds like "what you doing."
Exactly. Perfect example.
That used to confuse me so much. I thought it was a completely different sentence.
And that's the illusion. Your brain expects clear, separated words, but real English is blended.
So it's like everything is melting together?
That's a great way to describe it. Words melt into each other.
Okay, that explains why even slow speech can feel fast, because I can't hear the boundaries.
Exactly. Your brain is trying to find where one word ends and the next begins, but the signals are blurred.
That's actually kind of frustrating.
It is, but here's the empowering part. Once you learn the patterns, your brain adapts surprisingly fast.
Really? Because right now it feels impossible.
Let's break it down with a simple example. Listen to this. Did you eat yet?
Okay, that seems simple.
Now listen to how it's actually spoken. Did you eat yet? Or even, jeet yet?
Wait, jeet yet? That doesn't even sound like English.
Exactly, but native speakers understand it instantly.
That's wild.
And here's a quick pattern interrupt. This might shock you. Native speakers don't hear every word either.
What?
They predict what's being said based on patterns, context, and experience.
So they're not listening carefully, they're guessing?
Not guessing randomly, predicting intelligently.
That makes more sense.
Think about this. If I say, I'll call you, what do you expect next?
Later.
Exactly. Your brain fills in the missing piece before it even hears it.
Oh wow, I do that automatically.
And that's what you need to train in English.
So instead of trying to hear every word, I should start predicting?
Yes, that's the breakthrough.
Okay, but how do I actually practice that?
Start with familiar phrases. Listen to how they change in fast speech. For example, going to becomes gonna.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Want to becomes wanna.
That one too.
Have to becomes have to.
Okay, now that you say it, I hear it everywhere.
Exactly. These are patterns. Once you recognize them, conversations stop feeling chaotic.
So it's like learning shortcuts.
Yes, but listening shortcuts.
I like that.
And here's something for you watching. Have you ever heard a sentence many times and suddenly one day it just clicked?
Oh yes, that moment feels amazing.
That's your brain recognizing a pattern.
So I need more of those moments.
Exactly. And you get them by exposure, not perfection.
That actually takes pressure off.
Good, because pressure slows learning.
Okay, but what about when people use slang or expressions? Because sometimes I understand the sounds, but not the meaning.
Ah, now we're stepping into another layer.
There's always another layer with you.
And this one is powerful because it's where language becomes culture.
That sounds deep.
It is, because in the next part, we're going to explore why understanding words is not enough.
Wait, don't tell me.
You need to understand how people think.
Okay, now I'm hooked.
Good. And if you're still watching, here's a quick challenge. Type in the comments, I'm starting to hear the patterns.
And hit like if you've ever struggled with fast English, because clearly you're not alone.
Not even close.
All right, let's go deeper.
All right, now we're stepping into one of the most powerful shifts you can make.
I feel like every part you say that, and then it actually is powerful.
Because each layer builds on the last one, and this one might completely change how you experience English.
Okay, I'm listening.
Understanding English is not just about language, it's about thinking patterns.
Wait, what does that mean?
It means native speakers don't just use different words, they organize ideas differently.
Oh, so even if I understand the words, I might not understand the logic behind them.
Exactly. And that's why sometimes a sentence feels strange, even when it's simple.
That happens to me a lot. I'll think, why did they say it like that?
Perfect. That question is the beginning of real understanding.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine someone says, I guess it's not the worst thing.
That sounds kind of negative.
Right, but in English that can actually mean something slightly positive.
Wait, what? That's so confusing.
It is, because English often uses understatement.
Understatement?
Yes. Instead of saying it's good, someone might say it's not bad.
Oh, I've heard that.
And here's the twist. Not bad can actually mean pretty good.
That's so indirect.
Exactly. And if you interpret it literally, you miss the real message.
So English is kind of subtle.
Very subtle. And here's a pattern interrupt. This might surprise you. Sometimes weaker words carry stronger meaning.
That sounds backwards.
It does. But listen to this. If someone says, that's interesting, depending on the tone, it might actually mean, I don't like it.
No way.
Yes way.
Okay, now I feel like I've been misunderstanding people my whole life.
Not misunderstanding, just interpreting differently.
That's a nicer way to say it.
And here's something for you watching. Have you ever felt confused because someone's reaction didn't match their words?
Oh yes, that uncomfortable moment.
That's the gap between language and intention.
So how do I close that gap?
You start by noticing patterns in how ideas are expressed. For example, English speakers often soften opinions.
Like,
Instead of saying, you're wrong, They might say, "I'm not sure that's quite right."
That sounds much nicer.
Exactly. It's less direct, but the meaning is still there.
So I need to learn these softer expressions.
Yes, but more importantly, you need to recognize them when you hear them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let's try a quick scenario. Imagine your friend says, "Yeah, I might pass on that."
That sounds like maybe?
It sounds like maybe, but it usually means no.
Wow, English really avoids saying no.
Often, yes, because communication is not just about information. It's about relationships.
That's deep.
And once you understand that, conversations become much clearer.
So it's not just language, it's psychology.
Okay, I feel like my brain is opening in a new way.
Good, that's the goal. But I have a question. Go ahead. What about when I understand everything, but I still can't respond naturally?
Ah, now that's the next level.
I knew it.
Because understanding is only half the journey.
And the other half is speaking, right?
Yes, but not just speaking. Responding in real time without overthinking.
That's the hard part.
It is. And in the next part, we're going to explore why your brain freezes in conversations.
Oh no, you're calling me out.
And more importantly, how to fix it.
Okay, I need that.
And if you've ever gone blank in the middle of a conversation, type freeze in the comments.
That's definitely me.
You're not alone.
All right, let's fix this.
All right, let's talk about that moment.
Which moment?
The one where someone asks you a simple question in English and your mind goes completely blank.
Oh no, not that moment. I hate that moment.
Everyone does. And here's the truth. It's not because you don't know English.
It feels like I don't know anything in that moment.
That's because your brain is overloaded. It's trying to do too many things at once.
Like what?
Listen, understand, translate, think of a response, check grammar, choose vocabulary, and speak, all in real time.
Wow, when you say it like that, it sounds impossible.
Exactly, and that's why you freeze.
So it's not a knowledge problem, it's a processing problem.
Perfectly said. It's not about what you know, it's about how fast you can access it.
Okay, that makes me feel better, but how do I fix it?
We simplify the process.
Please tell me how.
Step 1, stop trying to build perfect sentences.
Wait, but isn't that important?
Not in real conversation. Communication first, perfection later.
That's hard to accept.
I know, but let me give you a quick pattern interrupt. This might surprise you. Native speakers make mistakes all the time, and no one cares.
Really?
Really, because the goal is connection, not perfection.
That actually takes a lot of pressure off.
Good, because pressure is what causes the freeze.
Okay, so if I don't focus on perfect sentences, what should I focus on?
Simple responses. Short, natural, flexible.
Like what?
Imagine someone asks you, "How was your day?"
I usually panic and try to say something long.
Exactly. Instead, try something simple. Pretty good, just a bit busy.
That feels easier.
And more natural. Real conversations are built on small, simple pieces.
So I don't need to impress anyone.
Not at all. You just need to respond.
That changes everything.
Now here's step 2. Use reaction phrases.
Reaction phrases?
Yes, these are short expressions that give you time to think while still participating.
Oh, like, oh really? Or that's interesting?
Exactly. Let's try some. If I say, "I just got a new job," what can you say?
Oh wow, that's great.
Perfect. You've responded naturally, and you bought yourself time.
That actually feels like a trick.
It is a trick, but a very useful one.
I love this.
And here's something for you watching. Do you ever feel like you need to respond immediately with something smart?
Yes, all the time.
That pressure is unnecessary. Conversations are not performances.
That's such a relief.
Now, step 3, train your brain with patterns.
Patterns again.
Always patterns. For example, if someone says, "What did you do this weekend?" you don't need to invent a new structure every time.
So I can reuse the same pattern?
Exactly. I just relaxed, watched some videos, nothing special.
That sounds very natural.
Because it is. And the more you repeat these patterns, the faster your brain responds.
So fluency is built on repetition, not creativity.
In the beginning, yes. Creativity comes later.
That makes sense.
And here's a quick question for you watching. Have you ever thought of the perfect response, but only after the conversation ended?
Oh, that hurts.
That's because your brain needed more time. We're training it to respond faster.
Okay, I'm starting to feel hopeful now.
Good, because now we're going to take everything you've learned and bring it into real-life situations.
Like actual conversations?
Yes, stories, scenarios, and moments you've probably experienced yourself.
Oh, I love that. That's where it really clicks for me.
Exactly, because in the next part, you're going to see how all these ideas work together in real conversations.
Okay, now I'm excited.
And if you've ever frozen in a conversation, type "I'm ready to respond" in the comments.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Talk Easy Daily because this is getting really practical now.
Let's bring it to life. All right, now let's bring everything together with real-life moments, because this is where things finally start to click.
Yes, this is what I've been waiting for. I want to feel how it works in real conversations.
Good, because I'm going to describe a situation and I want you and you watching right now to imagine yourself inside it.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're at a cafe. Someone turns to you and says, "Hey, is this seat taken?"
Simple enough.
What's your response?
No, it's free.
Perfect. Short, natural, no overthinking.
Okay, that feels easy.
Now the same person sits down and says, "It's been such a long day."
Oh, okay, now I feel pressure to respond properly.
And that's exactly where most learners freeze.
Yes, that's the moment.
But instead of thinking too much, use a reaction phrase.
Like, oh really?
Good. Then add something small. Yeah, same here.
Oh, that actually feels like a real conversation.
Because it is. You're not trying to impress, you're connecting.
That's such a different mindset.
Now let's level it up. The person says, "I almost didn't come today, but I'm glad I did."
Okay, I understand the words, but I'd panic again.
Let's break it down. What's the feeling?
Maybe they were tired or didn't feel like coming?
Exactly. Now respond to the feeling, not the sentence.
So I could say, yeah, sometimes it's hard to go out.
That's excellent. You're following the idea, not the exact words.
Wow, that actually feels natural.
And here's something for you watching. Notice how simple that response was. No complicated grammar, just connection.
Okay, I'm starting to believe this is possible.
Good. Now let's try a slightly more complex situation.
Bring it on.
You're talking to a coworker. They say, "It's not the best plan, but it could work."
Oh no, one of those confusing sentences.
Exactly. So what's the real meaning?
They don't fully like the plan.
Correct. There's hesitation.
So how do I respond?
You could say, "Yeah, it might need some changes."
Oh, that matches their tone.
Exactly. You're aligning with their thinking.
That feels like a conversation, not a test.
That's the goal.
Okay, but what if I don't understand everything?
Then you use clarification.
Like asking them to repeat?
Yes, but naturally. For example, "Sorry, what do you mean?" Or, "Can you say that again?"
That feels less embarrassing than I thought.
Because it's normal. Even native speakers do this.
Really?
All the time.
That makes me feel so much better.
And here's a quick pattern interrupt. This might change your mindset. Asking for clarification is not a weakness. It's a skill.
I like that.
Because it keeps the conversation alive.
Okay, I'm definitely going to use that.
Now let's try one more scenario.
All right.
Someone says, "We should catch up sometime."
Oh, I remember this one.
What does it usually mean?
It might not actually happen.
Exactly. So how do you respond?
Maybe, yeah, that'd be nice.
Perfect. You're keeping it light, no pressure.
This is actually fun now.
Because you're no longer trying to decode every word. You're understanding the situation.
That's such a big shift.
And this is the moment I want you watching to notice. Does English feel a little more natural right now?
I think it does.
That's progress.
And it didn't come from memorizing more vocabulary.
Exactly. It came from changing how you listen and respond.
That's powerful.
And we're not done yet.
Of course not.
Because in the next part, we're going deeper into advanced insights that will make conversations feel even smoother.
Like what?
How to think in English without translating.
Okay, that's the dream.
And we're going to get you closer to that.
If you're still watching, you need to stay for this part.
And don't forget, like the video, subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, and share this with someone who struggles with English conversations.
Let's bring it to life.
All right, now let's bring everything together with real-life moments, because this is where things finally start to click.
Yes, this is what I've been waiting for. I want to feel how it works in real conversations.
Good, because I'm going to describe a situation and I want you and you watching right now to imagine yourself inside it.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're at a cafe. Someone turns to you and says, "Hey, is this seat taken?"
Simple enough.
What's your response?
No, it's free.
Perfect. Short, natural, no overthinking.
Okay, that feels easy.
Now the same person sits down and says, "It's been such a long day."
Oh, okay, now I feel pressure to respond properly.
And that's exactly where most learners freeze.
Yes, that's the moment.
But instead of thinking too much, use a reaction phrase.
Like, oh really?
Good. Then add something small. Yeah, same here.
Oh, that actually feels like a real conversation.
Because it is. You're not trying to impress, you're connecting.
That's such a different mindset.
Now let's level it up. The person says, "I almost didn't come today, but I'm glad I did."
Okay, I understand the words, but I'd panic again.
Let's break it down. What's the feeling?
Maybe they were tired or didn't feel like coming?
Exactly. Now respond to the feeling, not the sentence.
So I could say, yeah, sometimes it's hard to go out.
That's excellent.
You're following the idea, not the exact words.
Wow, that actually feels natural.
And here's something for you watching. Notice how simple that response was. No complicated grammar, just connection.
Okay, I'm starting to believe this is possible.
Good. Now let's try a slightly more complex situation.
Bring it on.
You're talking to a coworker. They say, it's not the best plan, but it could work.
Oh no, one of those confusing sentences.
Exactly. So what's the real meaning?
They don't fully like the plan.
Correct. There's hesitation.
So how do I respond?
You could say, yeah, it might need some changes.
Oh, that matches their tone.
Exactly. You're aligning with their thinking.
That feels like a conversation, not a test.
That's the goal.
Okay, but what if I don't understand everything?
Then you use clarification.
Like asking them to repeat?
Yes, but naturally. For example, sorry, what do you mean? Or can you say that again?
That feels less embarrassing than I thought.
Because it's normal. Even native speakers do this.
Really?
All the time.
That makes me feel so much better.
And here's a quick pattern interrupt. This might change your mindset. Asking for clarification is not a weakness. It's a skill.
I like that.
Because it keeps the conversation alive.
Okay, I'm definitely going to use that.
Now let's try one more scenario.
All right.
Someone says, we should catch up sometime.
Oh, I remember this one.
What does it usually mean?
It might not actually happen.
Exactly. So how do you respond?
Maybe, yeah, that'd be nice.
Perfect. You're keeping it light, no pressure.
This is actually fun now.
Because you're no longer trying to decode every word. You're understanding the situation.
That's such a big shift.
And this is the moment I want you watching to notice. Does English feel a little more natural right now?
I think it does.
That's progress.
And it didn't come from memorizing more vocabulary.
Exactly. It came from changing how you listen and respond.
That's powerful.
And we're not done yet.
Of course not.
Because in the next part, we're going deeper into advanced insights that will make conversations feel even smoother.
Like what?
How to think in English without translating.
Okay, that's the dream.
And we're going to get you closer to that.
If you're still watching, you need to stay for this part.
And don't forget, like the video, subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, and share this with someone who struggles with English conversations.
Let's bring it to life.
Because honestly, this is helping a lot.
Let's take it to the next level. All right, now we're stepping into something deeper. This is where English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling like your own voice.
That sounds amazing, but also kind of impossible.
It only feels impossible because of one habit.
Let me guess. Translating?
Exactly.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I hear something in English, translate it into my language, then translate my response back into English.
And what happens when you do that?
I get slow, confused, and sometimes I miss the conversation completely.
That's the cost of translation. It creates delay.
So how do I stop? Because my brain does it automatically.
You don't stop it directly. You replace it.
Replace it with what?
Direct understanding.
That sounds abstract.
Let's make it real. When you hear the word coffee, do you translate it?
No, I just imagine coffee.
Exactly. That's direct understanding. The word connects to an image or feeling, not another word.
Oh, so I need to build more of those direct connections.
Yes, that's how fluency actually develops.
Okay, but what about full sentences?
Same principle. Instead of translating sentence by sentence, focus on the idea.
Can you show me?
Sure. Imagine someone says, I'm kind of worn out today.
My brain wants to translate that.
Instead, ask, what's the feeling?
Tired.
Exactly. You understood the meaning without translating each word.
That feels faster.
Because it is. And here's a pattern interrupt. This might surprise you. Fluency is not about language. It's about speed of meaning.
Speed of meaning. I like that.
The faster you understand meaning, the more natural conversations feel.
So translation slows meaning down.
Precisely.
Okay, but how do I train this in real life?
Step 1. Use visual thinking.
Visual thinking?
Yes. When you hear English, imagine the situation instead of translating it.
Like a movie in my head?
Exactly.
That actually sounds fun.
It is, and it's powerful.
What's step 2?
Limit your sentence complexity when speaking.
So keep it simple again?
Always. Simple language allows faster thinking.
That makes sense.
Step 3. Practice thinking in small English phrases during your day.
Like what?
When you're walking, you can think, it's hot today. I'm tired. I need coffee.
Oh, like talking to myself in English.
Exactly. That builds direct connections.
I've never tried that seriously before.
Most people don't, but it's one of the fastest ways to improve.
Okay, I'm definitely going to start doing that.
And here's something for you watching. Have you ever tried thinking in English, even for a few seconds?
I bet most people haven't.
Then here's your challenge. Today, Try it for just 1 minute,
1 minute sounds doable.
and you'll be surprised how powerful that minute can be.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What pattern?
Everything you're teaching is about making English feel natural, not perfect.
Exactly. Natural first, perfect later.
That's such a mindset shift.
And mindset is everything.
So if I change how I think, my English changes too.
Yes, because language lives in your thinking.
Wow, that's deep.
And we've reached an important moment.
What moment?
The moment where everything starts to come together.
I feel that.
So in the next part, we're going to bring all of this into a clear recap.
Good, I need that.
And then we'll finish with something powerful, a way to keep improving every day without feeling overwhelmed.
Okay, I'm ready for that.
And if you've made it this far, type "I'm thinking in English" in the comments.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, because you're not going to want to miss what comes next.
Let's wrap this up strong. All right, let's bring everything together.
I'm actually excited for this part because I feel like we covered so much.
We did, but here's the key. You don't need to remember everything perfectly. You just need to remember the right ideas.
Okay, what's the first one?
Natural English is not about perfect sentences.
Right, people don't speak in full, clean sentences.
Exactly. They pause, change direction, and leave things unfinished. And that's completely normal.
So if I don't understand every word, that's okay.
More than okay. It's expected.
That already makes me feel less stressed.
Good. Now the second idea, English is full of hidden meaning.
Yes, people don't always say exactly what they mean.
Right. They imply, soften, and hint.
Like, we should do that sometime, actually meaning probably not.
Exactly.
I still can't believe that one.
And here's something for you watching. Next time you hear that phrase, notice how it feels. That awareness changes everything.
Okay, what's next?
Third, connected speech.
Words melting together.
Yes, native speakers blend sounds, reduce words, and speak in patterns, not isolated words.
So I need to listen for patterns, not perfection.
Exactly.
I feel like that's a big shift.
It is. Now fourth, focus on ideas, not individual words.
That one really helped me.
Good, because meaning lives in ideas, not vocabulary lists.
That's so true.
Fifth, stop translating.
That one is hard, but I understand why now.
Replace translation with direct understanding.
Images, feelings, situations.
Exactly.
And the last one?
Keep your responses simple,
Oh yes, that changed everything for me.
because simple language allows real communication.
And less pressure.
Exactly.
Wow, when you put it all together like this, it feels manageable.
That's the goal. Not overwhelming, just clear.
Okay, but what happens after this? Like, how do I keep improving?
Great question. Because this is where most people stop.
And I don't want to stop.
Good. Here's what you do.
I'm listening.
First, expose yourself to natural English every day.
Like videos?
Yes, conversations, podcasts, anything real.
Okay.
Second, don't just listen. Notice patterns.
Patterns again.
Always patterns.
Got it.
Third, practice small responses out loud,
Even if I'm alone?
especially if you're alone,
That feels less scary.
and it builds confidence.
I like that.
Fourth, be patient with yourself,
That one is hard.
but necessary, because progress is not instant. It's gradual.
Yeah, I need to remember that.
And here's something for you watching. What's one thing you learned today that changed how you see English?
That's a good question.
Write it in the comments, because when you put it into words, it becomes real.
I love that.
And if this episode helped you, even a little, make sure you like the video.
And subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, because we're doing this every day.
Every single day, helping you understand English naturally.
This actually feels different from everything I've tried before.
Because this is not about memorizing, it's about understanding.
And I finally feel like I'm starting to understand.
That's the moment we were aiming for.
And honestly, I don't feel scared of conversations anymore.
That's powerful.
It really is.
So the next time you hear English, don't panic.
Just listen for the idea.
Follow the feeling
Keep it simple,
and trust your brain.
because it's learning, even when it feels messy.
Exactly.
Okay, I think this is the part where we say goodbye.
Not goodbye, just see you next time.
Right, because the learning continues.
Always.
All right, see you in the next episode of Talk Easy Daily.
And remember, you're not just learning English.
You're learning how to live it.
See you soon.